Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to Fort Lee High School as we are getting set for one of the first broadcasts that we're having all spring season. As today it's going to be a matchup in the Big North American Division between the visiting Ridgefield Park Scarlets and the Fort Lee Bridgemen. Ridgefield Park starting off this season on a high note. They're 4-0 for Coach Greg Hansen as they come in having dominated their last couple of opponents. Starting off the season 4-0 and outscoring their first four opponents by a 29-6 margin. Fort Lee is 0-2 on the season under head coach Bill Straub's watch, as he's going to be trying to lead FDU to their first win of the season here today. The Bridgemen are going to be in their orange tops with black pants. Ridgefield Park will be sporting their red tops with black pants. So just about to get underway. Beautiful day in the 60s. A little bit of wind starting to swirl around the complex as we're about to get underway. Carly Kulala will lead things off for Ridgefield Park. She's the second baseman as the Scarlets try to continue their dominant start to the beginning of this season. Kulala is hitting .385 on the year, 1 home run, 3 RBIs. In the last game, she went 2 for 4 with an RBI against North Bergen. In the circle today for Fort Lee is going to be number 16, Jenna Yang. Yang will be the pitcher for the Bridgemen. Taylor Sahulis will be in right field. In center field, Caitlin Park. H. Eno will be in left field. And the Bridgemen will be in their orange and black. Ridgefield Park in their red and black. The Kalalo sisters are two of the focal points of this offense for Ridgefield Park this season. Scarlets matching up. This is the divisional contest between these two sides. First meeting of the season. They'll meet again later on April 26th at Ridgefield Park. The pitch taken off the plate to the far side. 2-2 the count. Again, this is the leadoff hitter of the game. We're just underway here on this afternoon in northern New Jersey. So glad that you could join us. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. And strike three called on the outside corner. As Kulala will be retired for the first backwards K of the day, and the leadoff hitter is out for Ridgefield Park to start off this top of the first inning, one away. That'll bring up the second place hitter in the lineup, the shortstop, Eliza Mullen. Mullen is hitting .667 on the season, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, has collected 10 hits already in the first 4 games. She went 1 for 3 with an RBI, a run scored, and a stolen base against North Bergen their last time out on April 7th. Outside corner again. Good strike call there, as Yang has been finding her way in and outside the strike zone. Just missing high and outside that time. Again, the rise ball just missing outside the zone. 3-1 the count as Mullen tries to become the first base runner to reach safely here for Ridgefield Park. That one is a rocket shot, but foul down the third baseline. Count runs full. Park already has 1 strikeout so far to lead off this game and to call third strike. has run the count full, 3-2. Another hot shot. This time it will be a fair ball down the left field line, and that will go for a ground rule double. So Eliza Mullen continues her hot play to start off this season. She collects her third double of the year, first base runner of the day for Ridgefield Park, as they have a runner at second with one out here in the top of a scoreless first inning. That'll bring up the third place hitter, number 14, Gabrielle Rivera. Rivera is also going to be the starting pitcher today in the circle for Ridgefield Park. Hitting .438 on the season, 1 home run, 6 RBIs, has collected 7 hits herself. Went 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored against North Bergen. Taps it right back to the pitcher, who'll tire her down at first. That'll move the runner down to third, but now there's 2 away. So pretty much as good as a bunts, but now 2 outs in the inning and a chance for Yang to get out of the inning for Fort Lee unscored upon. That'll bring up number 10, Riley Nagel, as the cleanup hitter. Nagel, the junior, .357 batting average on the season. Takes outside for a ball, 1-0. Nagel was a perfect 3 for 3 with a pair of doubles and an RBI against North Bergen in their last game. Swing and a miss. And that low breaking pitch had her fooled that time to even the count now at 1-1. Jenna Yang, a freshman, towing the rubber in the circle today as the starting pitcher for the Bridgemen. An exceptionally young side this season for Fort Lee. Foul ball down that third base line again. Sets and fires. That's ripped again, foul down the third base line. 1-2 the count. Against Riley Nagel, the designated player in this lineup for Ridgefield Park. Runner at third, 2 outs here, scoreless in the top of the first inning. Ground ball, and that'll sneak into the outfield for an RBI single. And Ridgefield Park is on the board with a 2-out single there by Riley Nagel, driving in Eliza Mullen from third base, and it's a 1-0 lead for the visitors. So Ridgefield Park with 2-out production here in the top of the first inning have staked themselves out to a 1-0 lead. First ball swinging, that's driven a mile high in the infield, and that's going to be a pop-up off the bat of Ivana Capurso, the catcher. But Ridgefield Park does produce with 2 outs in the inning, an RBI single by Riley Nagel has given the Scarlets an early 1-0 lead. We head to the bottom of the first inning. First at-bats upcoming here for the Bridgemen as you're watching Fort Lee softball here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. So we head now to the bottom of the first inning. Let's meet the starting lineup here today for Fort Lee. Leading off and doing the pitching, Jenna Yang. Hitting second and playing in center field is Caitlin Park. Hitting third and playing down at first base is Olivia Hausman. Doing the catching and in the cleanup spot, hitting fourth in lineup is Ava Lee Castillo. Hitting fifth, the designated player, Olivia Kim. Playing in right field and hitting sixth is Taylor Sahulis. Hitting seventh and playing at third base is Emma Schulman. Hitting 8th and playing at second base is Bella Plout. And hitting 9th and playing in left field is Paige Eno. And they will be trying to produce some runs against the starting pitcher here today in Gabriela Rivera. And what a season it has already been for Rivera, the junior. Pitching to a minuscule 0.88 ERA. She's allowed 9 hits, 5 runs, 3 of which have been earned, in 24 innings of work already. And eye-popping numbers here for Rivera. 33 strikeouts with only 3 walks. She's been staked to a 1-run lead as we get going here in the bottom of the first inning. Here's Jenna Yang. Takes that rise ball outside the zone, 1-0. Fort Lee was close to getting out of that top of the first inning without allowing a run. Clutch hit, though, by Nagel. 2 strikes against her and with 2 outs. Was able to line it down the third base line for a base hit into left field. That gave her team a 1-0 lead. And with the player and pitcher of the nature of Rivera, that might be enough for her. There's a strike called. Rivera's pitch, missing to the outside. Again, a beautiful sunny day here in Fort Lee, just outside the shadow of the George Washington Bridge. Inside, handcuffing Yang that time. The freshman did not want to offer that one. As she tries to get things going here for the Fort Lee offense. An offense that has only scored 1 run in each of their first 2 games, but a base hit to right field. And legging it out safely there was Jenna Yang. So Yang starts off and helps her own cause with a leadoff single to right field. First hit of the afternoon for Fort Lee. That'll bring up number 2, Caitlin Park, the center fielder. So Jenna Yang doing a good job of fighting back with 2 strikes against her in that at bat. And eventually found pay dirt going to right field. And because it was shallow rights, she had to hustle her way down the line to make sure she was not thrown out at first, despite getting that base hit. That one missed to the outside, 1-0 the count. Against Caitlin Park, Olivia Hausman will follow. She's waiting on deck. There's a strike curving. Generous call there on the outside of the zone. 1-1 the count now against Park. Missed the inside, now 2-1. And Jenna Yang is down at first base, leadoff single for Fort Lee. That ball missed high as well. So Rivera, who's only walked 3 hitters so far this entire season with her 33 strikeouts, in danger of possibly losing Fort Lee's second batter of the game here to a walk. Swing and a miss. Elicits that swing and a miss that she so often does. Again, 33 strikeouts in her performances so far this season. 33 strikeouts, 24 innings of work. Swing and a miss that time. So she came all the way back after it looked like she potentially was going to be in danger of walking Caitlin Park. Came back to produce the strikeout. Now there's one away here with a runner down at first in the bottom portion of the bottom of the first. Brings up Olivia Hausman. That'll be a strike. 0-1 the count against Hausman. Flies ball out of the zone. Now 1-1. One out in the inning here. Runner down at first base with the leadoff single. Fort Lee trying to do something here as that one got away from the catcher. That's going to allow the lead runner to get down into scoring position down at second base. Capurso could not handle that one cleanly, and the one who benefited the most was Jenna Yang. So Yang gets moved down to second base. Hausman with a base hit could potentially tie this game up. Again, that one got away from Capurso, but got a fortuitous bounce right back to her off the backstop. So now 3-1 the count. Second straight hitter that Rivera has fallen behind 3-1. She battled back to eventually produce the strikeout against Park. And that's going to be outside for ball 4, so Hausman reaches. Two of the first 3 softball hitters for Fort Lee have gotten on base safely. Runners at first and second with 1 out. 1-0 lead here for Ridgefield Park, as Fort Lee is getting their first at-bats of the day in the bottom of the first. Brings up Avalie Castillo. Takes that for a strike, 0-1. Castillo, the catcher for Fort Lee. RBI opportunity. That one is dribbled down. It's going to be taken to the second base bag and then on to first for a ground ball double play. What a job there by Eliza Mullen. Mullen showing off the range on the infield, took it to the second base bag herself, and then the shortstop started that 6-6-3 double play. So Rivera struggled a little bit by her own standards in that bottom of the first inning, but she strands a couple of scores in opportunity for Fort Lee's. We head now to the top of the second inning. It remains a 1-0 lead for Ridgefield Park here on YouTube. One nothing lead for Ridgefield Park. Rivera got out of trouble in the bottom of the first inning. We head now to the top of the second. Jenna Yang was effective in that first inning for the Bridgemen. First ball swinging. That's popped up straight backwards and out of play for a foul ball by Mia Monteleone, the third baseman for the Scarlets. 0-1 the count against her. Monteleone hitting .273 on the season. She was hitless in 3 at-bats against North Bergen. There's a breaking pitch for a strike. Now quickly 0-2 the count against Monteleone. 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up here to start off the top of the second. Ground ball down to second base. That'll be handled nicely by Ploutz, throwing it over to Hausman, and there's one away to begin the top of the second in the 4-3 groundout. That'll bring up number 11, Riley Fucci. Fucci, the sophomore, who was outstanding as the starting pitcher in a win against North Bergen the other day. She did go hitless, though, 0 for 3 at the plate. That time, another ground ball, but that went through the wickets and off of the Fort Lee second baseman. That'll allow a one-out base runner to reach safely here for Ridgefield Park to begin the top of the second. Deem that to be an error against Plout, who had done a nice job of hanging with it on the first ground ball that was hit to her. Deflected off her glove this time. That'll bring up Alyssa Mayorga. Mayorga, a sophomore, .429 hitter on the season. 3 hits, 3 runs scored for number 3 in red. Mayorga hitting from the right side of the batter's box. As a runner at first with 1 out here in the top of the second. 1-0 lead for Ridgefield Park. There's a strike called for Jenna Yang. First league meeting of the season for Fort Lee. They began their season with losses against Westwood and Bergenfield, both on the road. This is their home opener of this 2023 season. Sacrifice bunts laid down. And is that going to be deemed a foul ball? It looks like it is. So that will send Mayorga back to the batter's box. Janelle Kulala, the center fielder, is waiting on deck. She's the 9th hitter in this lineup for Ridgefield Park. As that's fouled off. Again, 2 strikes against Mayorga. Yang looking for another out. That curve just outside the zone for a ball. 2-2 the count. Runner at first with 1 away here, top of the second. 2-2. That is driven deep, but hooking foul down the left field line. Straightened out. That might have been enough of a distance for a home run here. As Mayorga timed it just a little too early. Sends it back to a 2-2 count. Yang with 1 strikeout so far in this game. Dribbles that one short. The runner will advance down to second base in time after Castillo tried to throw her out, trying to advance down to second base. 3-2 count. Count is run full. Now with a runner down in scoring position. Here's Yang's 3-2. That one is driven, and it's just foul again down the third base line. That is where Ridgefield Park has been really hooking things so far in the early portion of this game. They've been trying to pull it down that hot corner side. Yang got the leadoff hitter to ground out to second. Second ground ball to second. Ended as an error and missing inside for ball 4. 2 on with 1 out here now in the road, top of the second inning. That's the first walk of the day surrendered by Jenna Yang. That brings up the 9th place hitter, center fielder Janelle Kulala. Kulala's senior, yet to get a hit so far this season. It's going to be a wild pitch that's going to allow the runners to move down to second and third, respectively. So a base hit could possibly drive in 2 here for Ridgefield Park in the top of the second. Yang missing low. Now 1-1. And the leadoff hitter was retired on a ground ball. The second hitter of the inning, Fucci, and grounded to second as well, but it caroms off of the second baseman's glove. That's a sacrifice attempt. Kind of interesting call here to try to put the bunt on with runners at second and third and one out in the inning. Goes as a foul ball, and now there's 2 strikes against Kulala. Carol Kulala, her sister, is due up next. She's the leadoff hitter. Missing just inside. It's now 2-2. Janelle's sister was a strikeout victim back in her first plate appearance last inning. 2-2, runners at second and third with 1 out. Swing and a miss into the catcher's mitt. That's strike 3. Second strikeout of the game for Jenna Yang, and a big one at that. Now there's 2 outs and away potentially out of this inning with runners still at second and third, but now with 2 away. Carol Kulala was the strikeout victim back in her first plate appearance. She went down looking with a backwards K. The starting second baseman for Ridgefield Park, .385 hitter on the season. Trying to drive that one to right field, but it hit into the backstop. Fouled back. 3 RBIs on the season. Prime time RBI opportunity here. With runners at second and third. Ridgefield Park was able to drive in their opening run of the game with 2 outs back in the first inning as well. Yang trying to get out of trouble. Missing on that pitch low. That one is driven into the backstop. Two strikes now against Kulala. Yang was able to use her curve last time to get the out in the outside corner. Trying to go that direction with a rise ball on the far side, but missed. 3-2, the count, full count now. Dangerous Eliza Mullen, who had a double back in the first inning, waiting on deck for Ridgefield Park. Ground ball, and that's going to be a base hit once again to the left side. That's going to plate home a pair. And again, clutch hitting for Ridgefield Park. They had 2 strikes against them in the at-bat, 2 outs in the inning. Not phasing. Carol Kulala drives in a pair with an RBI 2-run single. And Ridgefield Park has now stretched their lead to 3-0. An error proved costly in this inning for Fort Lee. An error and a walk provided those 2 base runners, and then that production with 2 strikes against her by Kulala. Drives in her 4th and 5th RBIs of the season as Mullen fouls that one back. All 3 runs for Ridgefield Park today coming with 2 outs in an inning. 3-0 lead for the Scarlets here, still batting with a runner down at first in the top of the second with 2 outs. Missing outside against Eliza Mullen. Mullen had that hot shot down the left field line for an extra base hit. She eventually came around to score on the Nagel 2-out single. 1-2 the count now against Mullen. Again, a hot shot. This time foul down that left field line. That is where Ridgefield Park has been going with their offense. They've been hitting it down that third base side. All 3 of those hits sprayed in that direction on the field. Once again, that's driven down the left field line. And that will once again just be in foul territory. As Paige Eno has been a very busy customer playing in left field for Fort Lee here so far. Eno in left, Park in center, Zuhulis in right, Schulman again down at third, West doing the work at shortstop, Plout at second, Hausman at first, and Castillo doing the catching. Ground ball, and could not be backhanded. That's going to allow another base hit. Pausing was Kulala down at second base. She was thinking about maybe making the turn and going to third. Didn't want to try her luck and be overly aggressive. So Eliza Mullen is now 2 for 2 in this game. A double in the first, a single here in the second. Fourth hit of the game for Ridgefield Park as they continue to bat here. Gabriela Rivera trying to help her own cause, and she will. She'll sock that to left field. That will plate home another run in the inning for Ridgefield Park. They will stake themselves out to now a 4-0 advantage on the RBI single by Gabriela Rivera. Rivera driving in her 7th run of the season. 3 straight hits in the inning now, all with 2 outs. A 3 spot here in the top of the second inning for the visitors. Brings up Riley Nagel. Nagel had the RBI single to left her last time up. Popped up into the backstop. 0-1 the count against Nagel. This time, Nagel hits that one to straightaway center. Not having to move all that much was Park, who settles in underneath it for the 3rd and final out of the inning. But Ridgefield Park strikes for 3 more. They will take a 4-0 lead now to the bottom of the second inning as you're watching all the action here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. About to start the bottom of the second inning, 4-0 lead for Ridgefield Park on top of Fort Lee in this home opener for the Bridgman softball program. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, glad that he could join us here on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel. Ridgefield Park scoring all 4 of their runs with 2 outs in their respective innings. 1 run in the top of the first, and then 3 more just recently in the top of the second. Olivia Kim will step in as the hitter to begin the bottom of the second and take that for a strike from Gabriela Rivera. Kim is the designated player in Coach Straub's lineup. Fort Lee had a couple of runners on with another strike against Kim. Jenna Yang led off the bottom of the first with a base hit. Olivia Hausman also reached on a walk, but then Avali Castillo grounded into a double play. And Kim will go down with the strikeout. Second strikeout of the game produced by Gabriela Rivera. There's 1 away to begin the bottom of the second. Ridgefield Park is one of the prohibited favorites in this Big North American Division this season, and one of the top teams in all of Bergen County softball. Swing and a miss that time by Taylor Sahulis, the right fielder, number 12 for Fort Lee, hitting from the right side. So for this very young Fort Lee team, quite a challenge here in their home opener. Again, swing and a miss as Sahulis comes away with nothing against Rivera. As Rivera has started to find her pinpoint accuracy in her pitches here in the second. Went that time a little wide of the strike zone to see if she could elicit a swing and miss. As they always say in baseball and also in softball, when you're going against a stud pitcher, the likes of a Rivera, you want to get to her early when maybe she doesn't have her number one mechanics. Well, she has shown her A-plus stuff right now to start off this second inning. Quickly has retired the first two Bridgman in order via the strikeout. 2 away with nobody on base now for Emma Schulman, the third baseman, number 14. Schulman also hitting from the right side. Rivera gets the strike, 0-1. So after Rivera was struggling to find that control, she's now, it seems like, found it. Schulman will foul that into the backstop. Now it's quickly 0-2 the count for Rivera, who in her last time out threw 10 innings of work on April 6th against Pascack Hills, allowed only 1 run, 10 strikeouts, 1 walk, and picked up the win. In an extra inning pitching duel game, she outlasted Pascack Hills. Again, 10 innings, allowing only 1 run over 10 innings, 10 strikeouts, only 3 total hits, and 1 walk. She gave up a walk and a hit in that first inning, but Fort Lee was not able to produce a run. Grounded down to third base. That'll be over in time. Monteleone getting it over to Mayorga. And that is a 1-2-3 inning for Rivera and Ridgefield Park. Through 2 innings of play, Ridgefield Park on top of Fort Lee by a score of 4-0. Stick around as we head to the top of the third, as you're watching the Fort Lee Bridgman softball home opener here on YouTube. Top of the third inning, 4-0 lead for Ridgefield Park, and that's going to be a strike called for the first batter that Jenna Yang will face. And Ivana Capurso, the catcher, popped up to shortstop back in her first plate appearance in the first. 0-1 as she lays off that pitch outside the zone, 1-1. Yang has allowed 4 runs, 3 of which are earned on 5 hits so far in the first 2 innings of action. That one just high and outside. 2-1 the count against Capurso. Swing and a miss. Nice off speed that time. Capurso was thinking fastball. Got the changeup instead. Now 2 strikes against her. Last season, Ridgefield Park went 13-10 overall, lost to Caldwell in the first round of the North 2 Group 2 sectional playoffs. Trying to flare that one out to right field, but fouled it back. So it's still 2 strikes against Capurso. Ridgefield Park finished second in the Big North American Division with a 6-2 league record behind Dumont, who were the champions of the league a season ago. We went 7-1. As that misses to the outside. Full count, 3-2. 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up here in the top of the third for Ridgefield Park. As that is driven foul down the third base side. So we'll do it again. 3-2. Ridgefield Park swept their 2 games with Fort Lee a season ago, winning here on the road 8-3 on May 9th, and then again at home 15-5 on May 10th. Last time that Fort Lee has been victorious against Ridgefield Park here at home, April 23rd of 2021, the Bridgeman won 12-2. As the Scarlets will rip that one, again foul down the left field side. Now with their 4 runs so far today, Ridgefield Park has outscored their opponents 33-6 overall in this, their 5th game of the season. They defeated Hackensack 14-1 in their season opener on April 3rd. Then traveled to Wayne Hills, put up an 8-3 win. And as I mentioned, that extra innings 2-1 pitching duel win against Pascack Hills, their best win of the season. Strike 3 there for Capurso, as Jenna Yang has now orchestrated her 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. And the leadoff hitter is retired for the 3rd straight inning by the freshman. 1 away with nobody on base. Ramia Monteleone. Monteleone grounded out to second base her last time up to lead off the 2nd inning. 0-1 the count against her. 1-0, excuse me. That's going to be just a foul ball. Almost a check swing. She's 0 for 1 this afternoon with that ground out. One. That's a hot shot. Trying to dive and get a piece of it was West, as that caromed into left field, hustling all the way and sliding in safely into second base, the 3rd baseman, Mia Monteleone. That's a hustle double on the play for Ridgefield Park. And it's a 1-out base runner here for the Scarlets to begin the top of the 3rd inning. That's the 6th hit given up in this game by Jenna Yang, and might have been the hardest hit ball so far in this afternoon affair. So a runner down at second with 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. That brings up Riley Fucci. Outside corner for a strike against Fucci. 0-1 the count against her. Fucci, the left fielder, reached safely on the error to the second baseman for Fort Lee back in the 2nd inning. Fucci grounds that one down to the 3rd base side, but just hooked foul. Now she's behind the count 0-2. Fucci reached on the error, followed up by Mayorga, who reached on a walk. But then it was the big 2-out double. A 2-run, 2-out single, I should say, by Carol Kolala. That drove in a pair. Ridgefield Park would bring home another run on a 2-out RBI single by Gabriela Rivera. That was part of a 3-run 2nd inning. Another runner down in second base in scoring position now for Ridgefield Park. Ground ball handled by Schulman. And will throw over in time for the outs. So now there's 2 outs in the inning. Runner moves down to 3rd base on the ground down. 5-3 put out, and that brings up Alyssa Mayorga. Mayorga, who reached on a walk her first time up in the 2nd inning with an RBI opportunity with a runner down at 3rd. Another opportunity here for Jenna Yang. Can she get out of the inning? Elitzes the ground ball, and she will get out of the inning this time. In the first 2 innings, Ridgefield Park has had clutch 2-out run production. That time not able to get through with an RBI single with 2 outs as Mayorga grounded out down to Schulman, who made back-to-back plays at third base. So no runs in that inning for Ridgefield Park. We head to the bottom of the third. It remains a 4-0 lead for the visitors. Bottom of the third inning, Fort Lee still trails 4-0. Trying to solve Gabriela Rivera, and that's easier said than done. Swing and a miss by Bella Plout, as Plout is behind 0-2. Second baseman, first plate appearance of this afternoon. As Rivera missing again, 2-2 the count. 8, 9, and 1 due up in this bottom of the third inning for Fort Lee. That is chopped into the ground. Could be an opportunity here for an infield single, and it will be. That was all sorts of trouble for the pitcher Rivera. That got tomahawked right into the turf. Took a high chop. It was going to have to be a bang-bang play by the pitcher. She fielded it cleanly, but she did not. So that means that it's going to be an infield single. And for the second time in this game, the leadoff hitter is on safely for Fort Lee. Second hit of the game for Fort Lee. They grounded down to first base, quickly taken back to the first base bag by the first baseman Mayorga. And that'll retire Paige Eno for the first out, but will move Plout into scoring position down at second base. One out. Now at top of the order again with Jenna Yang. Yang is 1 for 1, got a base hit. Trying to ground it down to first base again. It's going to be handled by Mayorga. That'll move the runner down to third base, but quickly there's 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Back-to-back groundouts down to first base will bring up Caitlin Park. Park is 0 for 1 with a strikeout back in the first inning. Rivera, outside corner strike, 0-1. No runs, 2 hits allowed, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk so far here for Rivera. Elicits another swing and a miss by Park. Now it's quickly 0-2 the count against her. Runner down at third, 2 outs here. Here's the 0-2. And that's hit in the outside corner in a generous strike zone at that. As that was just curving all the way out. I don't know how you're able to hit that one. But Gabriela Rivera got the benefit of the call there. Called third strike, first backwards K of the day. Gave her 4 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. So the leadoff hitter does not come around to score for Fort Lee. We head to the top of the fourth. It's still a 4-0 lead for Ridgefield Park here on YouTube. Remains a 4-0 lead for Ridgefield Park. They scored 1 run in the first, 3 runs in the second, no runs in the third. Fort Lee has had their opportunities themselves, have just not been able to produce some runs as they trail by 4 heading to the top of the fourth. Janelle Kulala will step in as that offering is outside the zone by Jenna Yang. 1-0 count against the 9th place hitter. The center fielder went down swinging with a strikeout back in the second. Yang has produced 3 strikeouts of her own, has given up 4 runs on 6 hits. 3 of those runs earned. Lala knocked down by Yang, and she's going to earn her way to first base on an infield single. It's one of those plays that if the pitcher does not make the play cleanly, and in doing so deflected it and slowed down the travel of the ground ball, there's going to be no chance to throw out Kalala, who has her speed down that first base line. That's her first hit of the season, and we'll bring up Carol Kalala now. That throw down to second base, and that's going to be in time. Caught stealing. Janelle Kulala was going on the first pitch, and what a throw down to second base by Castillo. Had it there in plenty of time. The tag just had to be administered. And that leadoff hitter who got on safely is now retired. One away with no one on base. That was also, with that infield single, the first time today that Ridgefield Park had their leadoff hitter reach base safely, but retired quickly. Now 2-0 the count. Kalala is now 1 of 2. Drove in 2 her last time up with the 2-out single in the second inning. Top of the order again here for Ridgefield Park. That one is driven foul down the first base line and out of play. 2-2 the count. Nice crowd assembled here for this home opener for Fort Lee. They've been soaking up the sun. We were in the sun for a little bit just before clouds moved it, and now in the shade as we're in our broadcast vantage point deep in center field. That's going to be a base hit to left field, and quickly making the turn. Kulala hustling all the way. That's going to get her to second base, and with an errant throw, that will get her down to third base as well. And will Kulala be given home as well? It looks like she is, because she was making the turn already to go to third. And with the throwing error, that will afford her another base, and that's an inside the park home run. As Kulala will score the 5th run of the game for Ridgefield Park. So I don't know what officially it's going to be ruled as. I think the umpires are now talking things over and seeing whether or not she should be brought back to third. Should be a double and then a pair of errors. With the throw got away and was thrown into the stands after they were trying to throw her out, making the turn to get to second. So it looks like the run will stand. It might be a double and then a pair of errors bringing home that run. So a run nonetheless for Ridgefield Park. They extend their lead now to 5-0 as Eliza Mullen will step in ahead of the count 1-0. Mullen 2 for 2 today. Had a double in the first inning, a single in the second. Hot shot again right past shortstop. It's a 3 for 3 performance for the shortstop for Ridgefield Park. Eliza Mullen on base safely for the 3rd consecutive at-bat. 8th hit of the game now against Jenna Yang. Correction, 9th hit. Grounded down to third base, throwing over Shulman. That's going to be in time for the second out of the inning. Shulman has been steady down at the hot corner. That stopped a run of 3 consecutive hits produced in this inning by Ridgefield Park. They led off the inning with the single, but then Kulala was thrown out trying to steal second. Garo Kulala came up with a double down the left field line. Came around to score in a couple of throwing errors. Eliza Mullen followed with a base hit, right past short. And then the ground out by Gabriela Rivera. That brings up Riley Nagel. So 5 runs on 9 hits so far in this game for Ridgefield Park, batting here in the top of the 4th. Pop up. They're going to say that deflected off of the backstop after the catch was made by Yang, so not the official pop up to end the inning. Nagel had the RBI single back in the first inning. Runner down at second. Grounded down to short. That'll be handled by West. Good stretch down at first base. Holding the bag the whole time was Hausman, and that will end the top of the 4th inning. But another run comes on to score for Ridgefield Park on a couple of errors. Another unearned run for the Scarlets. They take a 5-0 lead with them into the bottom of the 4th inning here on the road at Fort Lee. Bottom of the 4th inning now for Fort Lee, still looking for their first run of the afternoon. Gabriela Rivera has pitched 3 scoreless innings of work. And she gets a first pitch strike against Olivia Hausman. Hausman reached on a walk back in the first inning. Hausman trying to pop that one to the right side, but does so out of play, foul. 0-2 the count. Rivera gave up leadoff singles in the first and third innings. Dribbles that one in the dirt. That's low, 1-2. Last inning, Fort Lee led off with a infield single by Bella Ploutz. She would get all the way down to third, but was stranded there. Hausman again trying to rip that one down the right field line. Nice play there by a fan who was hustling, too, to make that play and made the catch in foul territory. Reliving the old glory days, of course. Hausman sends that one sky high to the right side. And that goes out of play onto the track in foul territory. So Hausman has had the best contact all game long for any hitter against Gabriela Rivera. Hausman again fouls that one back. Good at bat here for Olivia. One of the 3-point specialists on the Big North American Division Championship girls basketball team. Going to call that a strike inside? They do. And I think Hausman was a little perplexed as well, thinking that maybe she was going to have to run down to first base because it wasn't caught cleanly, but a strikeout it was. Fifth strikeout of the day for Rivera. Leadoff hitter is retired to begin the bottom of the fourth. David Lee Castillo, who grounded into a double play to end the first inning, stepping in. She's 0 for 1. Castillo fouls it off again to the right side and out of play. Fort Lee will next be in action on Wednesday as they will travel to Dwight Morrow for another Big North American Division contest before coming back home on April 17th to play host to the Comets of Hackensack High School. Castillo lays off that one, 1-2. No one on base, one out here, bottom of the fourth inning, 5-0 lead for Ridgefield Park. Grounded down to third. That'll be handled quickly there by Monteleone. Gets it over to Mayorga for the 5-3 ground out, and there's two away with no one on base. Brings up Olivia Kim. Kim is 0 for 1. Was a strikeout victim back in her first plate appearance in the second. As that is rolled for a ball, 1-0. Miss low again by Rivera, making the count 2-0. We will be back to broadcast that coverage of the home game for the softball team against Hackensack next Monday, 4 p.m. start time. You can watch all of these games live and on demand for free on the Fort Lee Athletics YouTube channel, as well as revisit some of the great moments from the winter and fall seasons if you want as well. Swing and a miss that time. 2-1 the count. 3-1, excuse me. As that's going to miss on the outside for ball 4. So Olivia Kim is going to be a 2-out base runner for Fort Lee. Still trying to search for their first runs of the game, batting here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Second walk of the game surrendered by Gabriela Rivera. Rivera walked Olivia Hausman back in the first inning as well. First ball swinging and fouling that back. 0-1 the count. 0-2, excuse me. Taylor Sahulis will go down for the strikeout. So Rivera strands that runner down at first base on the 2-out walk. She produces 2 strikeouts in the inning. Now has 6 strikeouts through first 4 innings of play. We head to the top of the 5th. It's a 5-0 lead for Westwood here at Fort Lee. So Ridgefield Park ahead 5-0. Gabriela Rivera has been as advertised for the first 4 innings. Fort Lee has gotten a couple of base runners on against her, but they have not had that big blow just yet in this game. Shut out through the first 4 innings. Ridgefield Park has scored in 3 of their first 4 innings of work as we head now to the top of the 5th. Jenna Yang gets that curveball strike in the outside corner against Ivana Capurso, who leads off this inning. Capurso 0 for 2 so far this afternoon for Ridgefield Park. Capurso ripping that one foul down the left field line. Capurso popped up to short back in the first, struck out swinging in the third. Capurso again trying to go to the left side of the diamond. Jenna Yang got a couple of ground outs to get her out of trouble in that last inning, only allowing 1 run. That was really an unearned run. Curve just missing the outside. 5, 6, and 7 due up here in the top of the 5th inning. There's a pop-up in the infield. Calling for it and making the play is Shillman for the first out of the inning. One away. So Jenna Yang so far in this game, fans, has retired the first hitter that she's faced in 4 out of the 5 innings. The defense has been tough for her a couple times with unearned runs so far against her in this contest. That brings up Mia Monteleone, who takes that one outside for a ball, 1-0. Monteleone grounded out to second base back in the second, also had a double. And the left field line in the third, 1 for 2. As that wraps its way outside the strike zone again, it's now 2-0 the count against Monteleone. Yang has allowed 5 runs on 6 hits in this game, 3 earned runs. As Monteleone will pop that one up, and that's going to carry him off of the backstop first before it's fielded by Hausman down at first. So we'll do it again with 2 strikes still against Monteleone. That one is driven and just off the lip of the glove of West at shortstop. Again, an errant throw nearly led to an extra base again for Ridgefield Park. They'll settle for the 1-out single by Mia Monteleone, who's now 2 for 3 this afternoon. That's the 10th hit of the game for Ridgefield Park. Brings up Riley Fucci. Fucci reached safely on an error in the second inning, grounded out to third base her last time up in the third. A strike against her, 0-1. That pitch missed somehow up high. Even the count at 1-1. Now, granted, we're having our vantage point from deep center field, but a couple of these have been a bit of a head-scratcher of how the strike zone has expanded at some points, as that one is ripped foul down the first base line. And some other spots, it looked like zone getting squeezed a bit. 2 strikes now against Fucci. Game began in low 60s, around 64 degrees at opening pitch. Beautiful afternoon so far here in northern New Jersey. A little bit of a wind swirling around the facilities, keeping us still sweatshirt weather. Yang's delivery and fools Fucci that time. That's the second out of the inning now, with a runner still down at first base. 2 outs and a 5-0 lead still for Ridgefield Park. Fourth strikeout of the game for Jenna Yang. Yang has looked very impressive against a dominant team that she is facing so far this season. Alyssa Mayorga will get a base hit to left field. That'll be the second hit of the inning now for Ridgefield Park. Have runners at first and second with 2 away. And bring up Janelle Kulala, 9th place hitter in the lineup, who's 1 for 2 today herself. Scarlet's trying to grow their lead even further. Kulala dribbles that one, but it rolls foul to the right side of the first base line. Janelle Kulala struck out swinging back in the second inning, and an infield single back in the fourth, but then was thrown out, subsequently trying to steal second base. Missing to the outside. 1-1. Her sister Carol Kulala has had a big day. 2 for 3, 2 runs driven in. Also came around to score last time after getting a double. Scored on 2 errors on the play, throwing errors. That extended the team's lead to 5 runs. Jenna Yang trying to strand a couple of base runners. Runners at first and second with 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. 1-2 the count. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning, 5th K of the day for freshman Jenna Yang of Fort Lee. And she strands 2 on base there to get out of a would-be jam in the top of the 5th inning. We head to the bottom of the 5th. It remains a 5-run deficit for Fort Lee. Five nothing lead for Ridgefield Park. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up here in this inning for Fort Lee. First pitch, a pop-up. That caroms behind the backstop. 0-1 the count against Emma Schulman. Schulman grounded out to third base back in the second inning. She's 0 for 1 this afternoon. 2 hits so far in this game for Fort Lee. And for this young Fort Lee side, the bats just have not woken up so far at the beginning of this season. They have faced some very good competition as well. And it's always something that you have to factor into the results side of the business. As I mentioned, Fort Lee started off their season on the road at Westwood and at Bergenfield. Lost by identical 11-1 games. As that's fouled in the backstop. Schulman now with a 1-2 count against her. And then having to come home to take on a Ridgefield Park, one of the hottest teams in the area. That one is driven deep. That is on a line drive, and that's going to fall in between the outfielders. Extra bases for Shulman. She's taking the turnaround second. She's thinking triple, and she'll get in safely with a leadoff triple for the Bridgman. Emma Shulman driving that one deep, the right center field. Wasn't sure if it was going to hang up just enough for Janelle Kalala to range over to make the play. She couldn't, and that is a triple now for Emma Shulman. Leadoff triple to begin the bottom of the fifth inning. A couple times in this game, Fort Lee has gotten runners at third base, but they have yet to bring them home. Third hit of the game for the Bridgman. That's grounded right back to the pitcher. That'll free Shulman and not allow her to come home to score as Bella Plott is retired. One pitch, one out here with a runner down at third. No hesitation there by Rivera. Just had to look and then was able to quickly fire down to first base as that brings up Paige Eno. Eno 0 for 1 today. Grounds it down to the first baseman, Mayorga. Hitting from the left side. And she'll drive that one down the left field line. That will be an RBI single for the ninth place hitter in the Fort Lee lineup, Paige Eno. With their RBI single, will get Fort Lee on the board, and it's now a 4-run lead for Ridgefield Park at 5-1. Good ball swinging there by Eno. She went the opposite way with it and drove it down the left field line. And now Jenna Yang will bat here as the leadoff hitter with a runner on first and one away here. So Emma Shulman led off the inning with a triple. And then after a ground out, Paige Eno was able to drive in the first run of the day for Fort Lee here in the home portion of the bottom of the fifth. Yang had a single to lead off this game back in the first and grounded out to first base her last time up, as that's a strike hitting the outside corner. So that's a strikeout against Jenna Yang. 2 outs in the inning now, as Yang is the 7th strikeout victim of the day for Rivera. Rivera giving up 1 run on 4 hits in this game. 7 strikeouts. 2 walks. Gets the swing and a miss by Caitlin Park. 0-2 quickly against Park. And Park will swing through that one and not connect. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning for Rivera. But Fort Lee finally solves Gabriela Rivera and plates home their first run of the day on the RBI single by Paige Eno following the leadoff triple by Emma Shulman. Through 5 innings, Ridgefield Park will take a 5-1 lead over the Bridgman as we head to the top of the 6th inning here on YouTube. Fort Lee on the board as we head now to the top of the 6th inning. 5-1 lead for Ridgefield Park, scoring once in the first, 3 more in the second, and once in the fourth. Errors have been the undoing of Fort Lee so far in this game. Jenna Yang has pitched an effective game. Freshman has given up 11 hits in this game, but really none of the hard variety. Only a couple of extra base hits she's given up, and one of those doubles really wasn't her fault as well. It was an eventual throwing error. Top of the order with Carol Kulala. Kulala came around as scorer last time up. She's ahead of the count 3-0. She drove in 2 runs back in the second inning on a single. Went down looking with a strikeout to begin the game, and last time she scored after a pair of throwing errors. And she'll take her base there on a 4-pitch walk to lead off the 6th inning. Kulala had driven her last at-bat with a pitch down the left field line for a double. Was going to be safe coming into second, but then the throw was made, got away from the second baseman, and then all caromed into the stands and allowed her to score on the 2-base error. Now Mullen takes that one high and outside. Jenna Yang has been effective here today for Fort Lee in throwing strikes. Again, she's given up 11 hits, but only 5 runs, 3 of which were earned. Here's a ground ball with the backhand, double clutching. That's going to ruin any chance of getting that runner out, and now it's going to be a throwing error as well. That'll move the runners to second and third with nobody out here to begin the top of the 6th inning. That was going to be a very tough play to be made by West at short for Fort Lee, and then when she double clutched and threw it, she probably would have been better suited just put it in her back pocket and not make the throw. Jamie West, the freshman shortstop. This one is driven deep on a line drive, and it's going to go off the glove of Eno in left field. That's going to score 2. Gabriela Rivera getting that one hit a ton down the left field line. That was going to be a tough play. If Eno would have made it, it definitely would have scored 1 run and maybe had then the runner tag from second and go to third. So 2 runs come home for Ridgefield Park to begin the top of the 6th inning as they increase their lead now to 7-1. As that ball rises outside the zone, 1-0 against Riley Nagel. Nagel had the first run driven into the game back in the first inning with 2 outs. She's 1 for 3 this afternoon. Again, that is driven foul to the left side. Inning started off with a walk, only the second walk surrendered in this game by Jenna Yang. Then Eliza Mullen followed with a base hit. A towering fly ball now to left as Eno will range in for the putout. That's the first out of the inning. And then again, I'm not the official scorer. Would never want to be. Certainly in baseball and softball, that is a tough job. But I would have scored that as an E7 after it deflected off the glove of Eno, who made amends by making that pop up. 1 out in the inning with a runner down at second base. Brings up Capurso. Bows that into the backstop. Oh, one also driven back. Looks like it's a pinch hitter, actually. Number 7, Madison Greco, number 7, the junior. That's taken a little too high and outside the zone. 1-2. Amy Calderon is The courtesy runner down at second base for Rivera. Swing and a miss there by Greco, and there's a strikeout. Jenna Yang picking up the K. Her first strikeout of this sixth inning, sixth strikeout of the game. And now there's two away. And Yang has a pathway potentially out of this inning after giving up a run after having a walk and a single followed by an error. Another fly ball. Eno will range in and make the final out of the inning. Ridgefield Park scores a pair of runs after, again, Colada led off with a walk, Mullen followed with a single, and then an error in left field. That scored two. Ridgefield Park will extend their lead as we head now to the bottom of the sixth inning here in Bridgman Country. Fort Lee's deficit now is 7-1 after Ridgefield Park plates home 2 runs in the top of the sixth inning. Fort Lee got on the board in that last inning after Emma Schulman led off the inning with a leadoff triple. Eventually was driven in by Paige Eno's RBI single. 2-0 the count. Rivera with 8 strikeouts in this game against Fort Lee. As that's going to be taken for a strike. Rounded to the backstop again. Olivia Hausman leading things off, the first baseman. 0 for 1 with a walk here this afternoon for the Bridgmen. Taken low, and she will earn her second walk of the afternoon. Fort Lee, yet again, has had the leadoff runner reach safely against Gabriela Rivera. That's the 4th time today in this, the 6th inning, that they have gotten the leadoff runner on. That is slashed foul down the first base line. Ava Lee Castillo, 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts in this game. Three walks now in this game for Rivera. And that's a nice shot. A base hit to straightaway center field for Castillo. First two have reached safely to begin the bottom of the 6th inning for Fort Lee. Castillo's first hit of the afternoon, 5th hit of the day for the Bridgmen. Fort Lee trying to mount a rally here late in the game as Rivera now pitching out of a little trouble here. Runners at first and second with nobody out. Rushed off the plate again. It's 1-1. grounded to the first base side, and ranging over to make the play down at first base was the second baseman. Gulala did a good job of having to cover the bag after Mayorga had to go down and field it down the first base line. So there's one out in the inning. The runners are moved down to second and third base respectively. 3-4 put out after Olivia Kim was trying to leg out a potential infield single and load the bases with nobody out. Taylor Sahulis, the right fielder, 0 for 2 today. Trying to lay off that pitch. 0-2 though. She has struck out twice here in this game against Rivera. As that breaking pitch missed outside the zone. Houseman lit off the inning with a walk. Castillo singled to center. Olivia Kim just grounded out to first. Trying to go the opposite way that time with it. That still goes foul. It's 1-2 count. Fort Lee 1 run on 5 hits in this game. Again, emergency swing late. It'll remain 1-2. Our next Fort Lee Athletics broadcast here in the spring will come in a couple days, as we'll be bringing you the sights and sounds from the Sugarman Athletic Complex and baseball home game against Ridgefield Park. That'll be on Wednesday, 4:15 opening pitch, slated for that Big North American Division showdown. So that'll be our first baseball broadcast of this spring. We hope that you join us. Good late swing again. Willis making Rivera work for it right now. And there is a strike called. Strike 3 looking. 9th strikeout of the afternoon now for Rivera. As there's 2 away, runner still down at second and third base. That'll bring up Emma Schulman. Schulman had a triple last time she was up. That got away from the catcher and sliding home with the second run of the afternoon. Aggressive base running that time by Hausman. She was watching all the way, and again against an outstanding pitcher the likes of Rivera, you have to scratch and claw any way possible to score some runs. She saw that got away from the catcher and did not hesitate at all. Ground ball down to second base. That'll end the inning, but a run on the board there for Fort Lee after that wild pitch scored Olivia Hausman. And that will end the first 6 innings of work. So Fort Lee with a run in the 5th and one more run here in the 6th. They still have a mountain to climb as we head to the top of the 7th here at Fort Lee. Bottom of the order due up here for Ridgefield Park as we head to the top of the 7th inning. 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up here for the Scarlets. who are trying to move to 5-0 to start their season and also kick off league play with a road win here at Fort Lee. Dan Long, Dimitri Nanis, glad that you could join us here for the kickoff of our spring broadcast coverage. These free broadcasts courtesy of the Fort Lee Athletic Department. As Jenna Yang missing low in that first offering against Riley Fucci. As that's nubbed foul. Fucci reached on an error in the second. Grounded out to third base in the third. Struck out Swinger last time up. Rounded down to third again. Shulman lofts that one over in time. Leadoff hitter is retired to begin the seventh on another 5-3 putout. Brings up Alyssa Mayorga. Mayorga collected a base hitter last time up. We'll pop that one well foul and out of play to the right side. Mayorga drew a walk in her first plate appearance in the second inning, grounded out to third back in the third inning, and had that single that I mentioned back in the fifth inning. 1 for 2 with a walk here today for the first baseman. Grounded foul down the third base side. Ridgefield Park has never trailed in this game. Took a 1-0 lead after one. Extended that lead with a 3 spot in the second. Scored once more in the fourth and then 2 more runs last inning in the sixth. That's taken low and outside the zone. 7-2 lead for Ridgefield Park. Yang missing inside as well. One out here, nobody on base in the top of the seventh. There's an off-speed, get me over strike. And that's going to be strike 3. A strikeout on a backwards K. 7th strikeout of the day for Jenna Yang. And now there's 2 away. And even if Fort Lee can't come back to take this one against a very good Ridgefield Park side, this has to be so encouraging for Fort Lee to see how their young pitcher has performed under the bright lights and in front of this very good opponent, a team that's probably going to be the favorite in the division this season. 7 strikeouts on the day for the freshman in the circle. Kulala, who's stepping in. Behind the count 0-2. Had a single in the fourth and a pair of strikeouts in the second and fifth inning for the 9th place hitter. Just dribbling that one down the first base line. Yang will get over to first base. They're going to rule that a foul ball. Yang didn't want to take any chances if that one was dribbled down that first base line. With Kulala's speed, that could be an infield single again. Laying off that low pitch outside the zone. Yang trying to produce a 1-2-3 inning, something that she has not been able to do so far this afternoon. Missing to the outside again. A swing and a miss there, and there's the 1-2-3 inning for Jenna Yang. Yang ends the inning with back-to-back strikeouts. She's got 8 strikeouts in this game, and that keeps that in 5-run deficit. Heading to the bottom of the 7th inning. The final 3 outs left here for Ridgefield Park as they try to procure the road victory here at Fort Lee. Jenna Yang allowing 7 runs in this game. 12 hits, a couple unearned runs, but has also produced 8 strikeouts in this contest. Promising debut for this freshman here at home. Against a veteran lineup that she is going up against that has dominated their opposition this season. Gabriela Rivera trying to finish this one off. Gets that one as a foul ball against Bella Plout. Plout had a single back in the 3rd, grounded back to Rivera her last time up in the 5th. She's 1 for 2. That one seemed like it was fouled off of home plate. That'll be another strike. 0-2 the count against the Fort Lee second baseman. Fort Lee 2 runs on 5 hits in this game. As Plout trying to go the opposite field with it. Fouled back again and still remains 0-2. Following this game, Ridgefield Park will head back home. As that's just fouled off to stay alive in the at-bat. Next time out on April 12th. Home game against Holy Angels for Ridgefield Park before they will then hit the road to take on Riverdale on April 14th. Rivera missing the outside, and they'll be back in league play hosting Cliffside Park then next Monday on April 17th. So a couple of tough outings in the next couple of games will really test Ridgefield Park. As that will be strike 3 called. Strikeout against Bella Plout. 10th strikeout of the afternoon for Gabriela Rivera. There's one away to begin the bottom of the 7th inning. Rivera had 10 strikeouts in her last outing against Pascack Hills and now 10 strikeouts here against Fort Lee. As Paige Eno, who struck for an RBI single to get Fort Lee on the board in the 5th inning, will step in 1 for 2. Quickly 0-2 against her. That one is going to be fouled off to the third base side. It was handled by Fort Lee head coach Bill Straub. That's going to be ruled a strike. They're going to have to complete the throw down to first, and not in time. Foot came off the bag there for the first baseman. So officially it will go down as a strike. And a strikeout, that would be the 11th strikeout of the game for Gabriela Rivera, but the base runner got on safely. Just a strikeout, still only 1 out in the inning. The base runner down at first base now for the Bridgemen. Back to the top of the order, and Jenna Yang. Yang 1 for 3 so far this afternoon. Led off the game with a single back at the bottom of the first. Grounded out to first base in the third, struck out looking in the fifth. One on the count against Yang. And handcuffed her. Inside for a ball, though. 2-1. It's the outside, so Rivera missing a little bit on their accuracy here in the bottom of the seventh. There's a strike. We're on the count full at 3-2. That's a ground ball that gets past the second baseman. And that's going to be a single for Fort Lee. And Jenna Yang, her second hit of the day. Second time that she has driven a ground ball into shallow right field. Was able to leg out that hit as well. So runners at first and second with one out here in the bottom of the seventh inning. That'll bring up Caitlin Park. It looks like it will also bring out head coach Gregory Hansen to talk things over and try to settle down his star pitcher. Sixth hit of the day, so Jenna Yang with 2 of Fort Lee's 6 hits to go along with her pitching performance. Again, this freshman, very impressive. Right now it'd be in a losing effort, but Fort Lee trying to make it interesting here. Runners at first and second, one away, bottom of the seventh. 0-1 count now against Caitlin Park. That ball outside the zone, 1-1. That ball again outside the zone. 2-1. Rivera with 11 strikeouts, only 3 walks allowed. Continues her trend this season. As I mentioned, came into play today, 33 strikeouts, only 3 walks allowed. So she's matched her season walk total in this one game. Now 2-2 the count against Park. Mounted to the backstop. Swing and a miss there. That's going to be another strikeout in this inning. That is the third strikeout. So Gabriela Rivera has the possibility of that very rare 4 strikeout inning. Again, she struck out the second hitter she faced in Paige Eno, but it got away from her catcher. Eno then was safe down at first base. Olivia Hausman will step in now. Taken inside for a ball. Hausman has drawn 2 walks in this game for FDU. Or, excuse me, for Fort Lee. Knew I always do that. I even do that sometimes. I do broadcast for FDU. I've even called FDU Fort Lee on occasion. Trying to get through 7 innings, not doing that in our opener, and that will end it in a swing and a miss. So a rare 4 strikeout inning for Gabriela Rivera is the cherry on top, and that is the ball game. Final score, Ridgefield Park 7, Fort Lee 2. With the victory, Ridgefield Park improves to 5-0 on the season, 1-0 in league play. Fort Lee falls to 0-3 on the season, 0-1 in the Big North American Division. Gabriela Rivera was outstanding, 13 strikeouts in the victory. And again, a very strong performance by the freshman Jenna Yang. We're going to hear a lot about her in years to come as she suffers the loss here today for the Bridgemen, but was very effective herself, producing 8 strikeouts of her own and limiting the Scarlets to 7 runs in this contest. So join us again for our next broadcast coverage of a Fort Lee softball home game as the Fort Lee Bridgemen will play host to the Hackensack Comets next Monday, April 17th, a 4 p.m. start time here on YouTube. So for my broadcast producer, Dimitri Nanis, I'm Dan Long saying so long here from Fort Lee, and thanks for watching Fort Lee Softball on YouTube. Take care, everybody.